Now, a lot of people have the misconception that minimalist means that you're less prepared. Minimalist means you have the absolute minimum, and that means that you're not going to have all of the necessary things that you might think that you'll need in some sort of situation. But I kind of disagree with that logic, because if it's a minimalist kit, it means that it's small, it's compact, and that you're probably going to have it with you. If it's some jumbo giant kit, a big backpack of some sort that has all of the things that you'd want in any and all situations, you're much less likely to have it with you because it's a big burden. But if it's something small and compact, like the one like perhaps that I'm wearing on my belt right now, that we're gonna dig into here in just a second and upgrade it, like I said, if it's something that I wear all the time, I don't even have to think about it, it just holds my pants up, right? Keeps my pants from falling down, and it's just there. That is about as efficient as it gets. Now in here, basically what I've got is the Wazoo Adventure Kit and then the Osh Kit right here, a collaboration between me, Wazoo, and Bear Forest Knives. And in this kit, you would get an Ulu as well. But they didn't ship the Ulu because I already have a couple Ulus, so no need to send me another one. But I've got all the other essential supplies that are in here. Now, if you wanted to, you could use this kit as is right here, or this one. If I crack this thing open, the Adventure Kit comes in a nice plastic container case like that, and you could literally just stick this in your pocket and be ready to go right there, right? You could stick it in a pack like that one. Any pack would do, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's got some essential items in there that can help you get through. Now, a lot of these are kind of redundancies. I get that. Like, for example, I'd have a lighter in my pocket. I would have a knife on my hip. So I necessarily wouldn't need any of this, but let's say something was to happen to my knife. It got extremely dull or damaged or lost or broken or whatever. I could use the small little cutting edge in here, the ceramic cutter that's in this kit. This tiny little small ceramic slicer right here that is a razor sharp right there. And this would get the job done if I needed to cut some cordage or who knows, a little bit of carving for some small task. So I could put that whole kit in here, or I could choose to carry most of that, if not all of it, in my belt right here, like I said. And I pretty much, if I'm wearing pants for the most part, I've got this belt on, and it's got most of those items in there. Do I choose to carry all of them? Nope. But it's, you know, personal preference. You guys can do whatever you want. You can let me know in the comment section of this video which items you would want to have on you at all times. Already hit the thumbs up. Please do. I'd be really grateful for it. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Moving on. So first things first, in my belt here, I keep this right here. And this is a water bag. It's a 1 liter water bag right here that I can use in conjunction with these water purification tablets to make my water safe to drink. Now, can I pull water out of the ocean right here and drink it? No, it's not gonna desalinate the water. Is it gonna get rid of any chemicals that might be in the water? No, definitely not. But it will kill all of the microbes that might be in there, the flesh-eating microbes that might eat my brains. We don't want that. I've been carrying this bag right here in my belt for about 2 years, maybe longer, not exactly sure, but I'd be curious to see if it still holds water or if it's got any little pinholes in it. So we're gonna test that here in just a second. But rolled up inside of there, I keep cash money. I got $100 bills. I used to have $200 in there, but I spent one of the $100 bills and haven't replaced it. So it'd be a good time to kind of freshen that up as well. Let's go test it out. There's also a pre-filter in here. In the original kit comes with some aluminum foil as well. But I found that it just took up a lot of space and was kind of bulky, and I just took that aluminum foil out of there because I just didn't feel the need to carry it with you. You might disagree. There's a lot of uses for aluminum foil for sure, but for the sake of space, I just chose to take it out of there. But this little pre-filter here is actually good tinder if you don't have anything else. Or, like I said, it's basically a coffee filter. If you had some coffee, you could make yourself a little, what do you call that, drip coffee? Or you could use it as a pre-filter. You know, if you got some scuzzy water here. So if there's a bunch of sediment in the water like this, I could take my pre-filter, I could scoop up some water in there and then use it to filter out a lot of that sediment that might be in there. And if I use it in conjunction with this bag right here, the water will come out reasonably clean. But primarily, I just want to see if this thing still holds water. Like I said, a couple years in my pants, holding up my pants. It looks like that's just dripping off the outside. We're leak free, friends. So after a couple years of being in my belt, rolling around, working out, jumping, running, climbing, doing all the things that I do, the bag still works. And one of the hardest things to carry with you on a regular basis is a container. You know, having a water bottle is kind of a burden. It's a big thing, you know. And oftentimes we don't carry them because they are big, heavy things. But if I could have this bag rolled up in my belt all the time, and after abuse, years of abuse, it still works, I mean, that's amazing right there. Drop a few water purification tablets in there, and you're good to go. For the short term, obviously. I mean, this is not how I'd want to live my life on a regular basis, drinking out of a bag, but you get the idea. Let's see how tough this bag is. You know, the drop test is always a good one. You know, one of my critiques of the Sawyer Mini is the bags that they come with. Sawyer Minis are really good filters. I like them. But I typically would use it with just a regular water bottle of some sort, you know, because the standard threads work on that. But the bags, I have dropped the bag before and I've busted them. Not from high, like not a long distance drop. I've just kind of dropped it from like here, you know, and the lid has exploded off of it or the bag itself has broken. Drop test number 1, hip high. No problems. Drop test number 2, head high. So we busted it. The 2-year-old bag did not survive the head high fall. Hip high, no problem. Took it like a champ, not the head high. So I'm gonna replace that bag with this one right here. A brand new freshie. And like I said, I could put it in there as is, just like that, and it would fit in my belt just like that. But I'd rather take out that aluminum foil just to save some space, and I'm gonna put that cash money in there. Yeah, cash is an excellent survival tool. I mean, oftentimes, I mean, that's all you need is just a little bit of money to get you out of a tight spot. For example, I was in Belize one time, and I was at the airport on my way home. We'd just spent a few weeks wandering aimlessly, being homeless in the country, exploring it. It's a beautiful place, living on the river, you know, in our inflatable rafts, which is a whole nother story. But on our way out, you know, we're in this little shop trying to kill time, waiting on our flight, you know, and we were in this little shop, and way behind me over on a shelf, something falls off and hits the ground. And I think, whatever, I didn't touch it. Somebody else knocked over something on the shelf. But anyway, the store owner accused me of breaking it. And eventually I had to buy my way out of the situation. It was either that or go to jail in Belize and miss my flight going home. So I had to buy my way out of the situation just so I could catch my flight, and cash was a lifesaver right there. All right, so that's refreshed, topped off, brand new. I also have some extra water purification tablets in here, which I think all I have in this kit is just the 2. So I might add some more. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. They just get crumbly after being carried in your belt for a long period of time. They turn into powder, which you could still use. It's definitely not a problem, but it's nice to just have some that aren't completely crumpled up. Easier to use them when they're still in tablet form. You kind of figure out, I guess, a lot of pocket lint going on in there. Eventually you figure out what works best for you, like where you want stuff to ride. And this is kind of how I have my system. It works for me. Grass wire, some fishing line, our hooks, and our sewing kit here. And I think that stuff is still good to go. There's no real need to replace that out. I could freshen it up, put the new ones in there, but I don't think I need to until I use them, until I open them up. And then we've always got our couple feet of duct tape right here. That is always nice to have, and that's probably still in good shape as well. But maybe I'll freshen that up. Put the new roll of duct tape in there. I could use the fishing line right now to catch something out here, most likely. The problem would just be bait. Just have to find something around here to use as bait. And as we've discovered in previous videos, your heel skin, slicing off a bit of your heel skin works pretty good for bait. So I could try that out. Try it on some saltwater prey. This spare needle in there when I was using the sewing kit for a project not too long ago. I might just reinsert that into my little kit here. And if you spend any time out here whatsoever, you're gonna tear your clothes up. I've had my clothes get holes in them all the time. And having just a simple needle like that, yes, you can bushcraft your way to a needle, but they'll never be as good as that right there. And they won't do as good of a job as just that right there and a piece of thread. So I'm gonna insert that needle back into my little kit here, into the little tube where it'll be safe and sound, like that. And if I should need it again, it'll be easy to pull that out of there. Here we have 400-pound test Technora cord right here. This stuff is excellent. You can see it's nasty and been carried in my belt for a long time, but it's still good to go. There's no reason to replace that whatsoever. And it kind of conforms to your body after carrying it for a while. So I'm gonna leave that right there and not mess with it. This is something that I'm going to replace. This is, oh, zip tie got stuck on my whistle. Whistle still works. But here is my flashlight, which I'm sure still works. See that? Yeah. Sure, it still works. The batteries in these things last forever. But just in case I've had it pushed for a significant amount of time or whatever, laying on it or something like that, it was on for a long time, I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out just in case. There's a freshie. All right, I'm gonna keep the whistle in there. Obviously, signaling reasons, it's pretty handy to have a whistle. Zip ties are always helpful for various different things. I mean, strapping stuff down. I'm riding a bike today. I could strap something down or repair something temporarily with a zip tie. A lot of uses for that. My ceramic striker, I have used quite a few times and might have dulled it a little bit. Ferro Rod's been used. You can see that's getting a little bit corroded. I'm gonna freshen that up. So I'm swapping it out with a fresh Ferro Rod striker, a little blade right there. I think is always handy. I mean, I typically always have a knife on me, but there's some situations where you can't, you know, it's just not, you know, it's not appropriate for where you are to have a blade on you, illegal or whatever. So having something like this little ceramic blade is pretty handy, and I'm gonna have that right there. And then last but not least, I've got my compass, and there's nothing wrong with my compass here, so I'm just gonna keep that in there. It still points north. You could confirm that with another compass if you were concerned about it, but it gets the job done. It's the middle of the day. The sun's right there at the highest point in the sky and in the most southerly, most south position that's gonna be in the sky. And my compass is the south needle. North is that way, south is this way. Pretty much confirmed right there. Oh yeah, and I forgot, I've used my tinder plugs. My little fire plugs here, the Cheetos, I have used them and not replaced them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. My signal mirror that's been in my belt buckle, right there, is still good to go. There's no need to swap that out, so I'm not going to. But I am gonna replace my little tinder, because, you know, finding tinder here is pretty easy. You can find tinder pretty fast and it's not really a big deal. But let's say it was pouring down rain or you know, situations were different and there wasn't a lot of tinder around you for whatever reason, just having a couple of these can save the day. Another really good reason to have a sewing kit, needle and whatnot is to get splinters out. So for example, I've got a splinter in my finger right now. Irritating, could possibly get infected, probably not, but you never know. I'm gonna use that to dig that thorn out. Which without a needle, I mean, it's really hard to do. I mean, eventually, you know, they kind of work themselves out, but it's kind of frustrating to have something stuck in your finger for a long period of time when you're using your hands a lot. There it goes. It's amazing how a tiny little thing like that, insignificant thing, can cause so much discomfort. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every single one of your views. If you haven't hit the thumbs up already, please do. If you haven't subscribed, I'd be grateful for that as well. We've got Patreon now, behind the scenes stuff, never before seen footage that you won't see anywhere else other than unlisted videos that you'll see on Patreon. Also live chats and question and answer and stuff like that you'll have access to. Friends, until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.